Hi, this is Miss Ranell. Thank you for joining me today. I have 3 books today about magical creatures. And the first one is a Spiderwick Chronicles, the Field Guide, by Holly Black and Tony DiTellizzi. Now, there is a movie by this, but as always, the book is better than the movie. And it's a whole series. I'm only reading the very first one, which is the Field Guide. And this is the cover. And so these are the Grace children. Mallory, Simon, and Jared are twins. And they move into Aunt Lucinda's house after their dad has left them. Aunt Lucinda is at a hospital. They think she's a little crazy. She says that there's little people that bring her food, and so everybody thinks she's crazy. She's in a special hospital. So the family moves in here. The house is old. It's kind of falling apart. It's dark and creepy. And Jared is waiting in the hallway, and he hears a noise, something skittering in the walls. And his imagination gets the best of him. He thinks it's squirrel, rat, skunk, mouse, ghost. So, and let me say too that Jared has had a really hard time since his dad has been gone, and he's been getting in fights at school. And so when they moved here, their mom thinks this is a new start for all of them, a fresh, clean slate. So he's had some issues. Simon, he rescues little animals and he keeps little animals, and that's how he kind of is dealing with the loss of his dad. And Mallory, she's taken up fencing. So they kind of have worked out their anger issues, except Jared. So he can't sleep. He can hear the stuff in the wall. He wakes up his brother and sister that night. Their mom has gone to get groceries. And so they go down to the kitchen, and Mallory hears the skittering in the wall, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to knock a hole in the wall, and I'm going to find out what this is. So she does it. And they find a hole that's got really weird things in it. A doll head, a mirror, paper that's been torn up, kind of creepy stuff, like army men. So she grabs it out of there and she throws it away. She's like, I don't know how this got here. And one of her fencing medals. And she's not sure how it's gotten there. She throws it away. She's getting ready to knock another hole in the wall, and they find a door, which is a dumbwaiter, which in old houses, they had this. This is how they could carry things from the basement, the first floor, whatever, up to the higher floors. And it was through the walls, and they would pull a rope, and it would come up, and then there would be another door, and you take out whatever. So you didn't have to carry stuff. So Jared is the smallest one and the most willing to go up in this. So off he goes all the way up to the top floor where there is a library. It's dusty, it's creepy, but he's really intrigued. There's jars of little different berries and stuff that he doesn't really know. It's kind of dark. All he's got is a little candle. And he finds an open book with a note, a message, that says, in a man's chest, you will find the answer to my clue or something like that. And so he's excited. He grabs this. He's getting ready to go downstairs, and he hears a noise. And he looks behind him, and written in the dust says, click, clack, watch your back. And he knows that wasn't there just a minute ago. So now he is freaking out. It's obviously a warning. He goes back down. He tells Mallory and Simon this. They're kind of skeptical. Simon is his twin. He believes everything. They are partners. Even he is a little skeptical. And Jared is telling Mallory, no, this is really true. She raises her voice. She's a little mad at him. They're kind of scuffling back and forth, and their mom walks in, and they get in trouble. So the next morning, the whole house is awoken to Mallory screaming. Her hair, let me see if I can get that straight in there, has been tied to the bed, to her bed headboard. And she's screaming for help. She's telling her mom, just cut it off, just cut it off. I can't get rid of it. She's scared, or she can't untie it. And her mom is furious because she thinks that Jared has done this. She has seen them having this argument in the kitchen. And Jared says, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. And Simon pipes up and says, I think it wasn't him. I believe him. Nonetheless, Mom is mad. They have to cut Mallory's hair to get it out of this. They're not quite sure what's happened. So they find a way into the library through a linen closet. So they're all in there. They figure out the clue, and there is an old chest that kind of looks like a treasure chest. They open it up, and they find Arthur Spiderwick's Field Guide to the Fantastical World Around You. And it is full of drawings and descriptions of fairies. Well, Jared is sure he knows that these exist, so they go on an adventure to try to find the fairies, make friends with them. Check it out, the Spiderwick Chronicles. This is the first one, the Field Guide. Like I said, there's a movie, but books are always better. The next book is Never Girl's Adventure book, and this is Beyond Neverland, and this is the first one. There's also a series of this. So this is about Gabby and her 3 friends, her older sister and 2 of her friends. Gabby finds an old model boat ship, and she thinks it's so cool. She talks to her dad about it, and her dad tells her the story that her great-grandfather has built this boat and how he built it, and that her dad remembers playing with it when he was a young boy. And he tells her how special it is to him, and she thinks it's awesome, and she wants to play with it too. And her dad said, you can play with it, but you have to be very careful. It's very special to me. Well, what she really wants to do is she wants to take it to Neverland and show her fairy friends, because these girls have found a portal to Neverland, and they have become friends with the fairies, and they visit quite often. So them being there is nothing unusual. She wants to show off this boat. So her and her 3, her sister and her 2 friends, they go to Neverland, and as soon as they get there, there is an alert. A fairy is in trouble. And so she drops the boat. She runs off to find out what the trouble is. And there is a fairy that is cornered by a snake. Now, the older sister, nobody's moving, everybody's afraid because they know that their magic isn't even as fast as a snake can strike. So the older sister grabs an apple and she throws it, and the snake slithers away, and everybody's so happy, and they go back home. And later that night, her and her sister are talking about how great this was. She was a hero, and it was a good thing they were there. And Gabby realizes she doesn't have the boat, and she realizes she's left it there. So the next day, all 4 girls go back because they have made a pact. If one goes, they all go. The whole time this is going on, we see Tinkerbell is in her kettle. She's tiny. She lives in a kettle. She fixes things. And she's looking out, and she's thinking there has to be a big world besides our island, and she would love to go out and explore it. Well, when they come back to Neverland, they realize the boat is gone, and so is Tinkerbell. So they are in search of Tinkerbell. So check it out. Do they find her? Does she find another land? Is everybody safe? And again, there's more books in this series. I will put a slide with them. So check it out. Never Girl's Adventure Beyond Neverland. The last book is called The Fairy Tale Reform School, and this one is called Flunked. And this is by Jen Kalanita. And this is also a series, and this is on Overdrive. And you can check these out with your library card. And I think there's maybe 5 in the series. The cover was very eye-catching to me. I loved it. This was a very cute book. So it's in the kingdom of Enchantasia, and it is ruled by 4 princesses. Princess Ella, otherwise known as Cinderella, Snow White, Rose, who is Sleeping Beauty, and Rapunzel. So these are the 4 princesses that rule the kingdom. They rule like one big happy family. But the story, we meet Gilly, and she is a tomboy. She is the shoemaker's oldest daughter. And she has followed 4 princesses, literally, they're princesses, while they're shopping. Because she sees a dragon tooth comb that she would like to get her sister Anna for her birthday. So she has followed them all around. They've gone into the perfect store. They are, the hair is just right, the makeup. And here Gilly, she's in overalls. She doesn't care about her hair. She's the opposite of what these little princesses are. And this missing comb will be nothing to them, but to her, it's something. And she does a lot of thieving, but it's because she's trying to get money for her family. She's got a big family, and her mom and dad, of course, they're cobblers, they're shoemakers, and it's a hard time supporting everybody. So she gets away with this comb. She's happy. She gets home that night. She gives it to her sister, and then there's a knock at the door. Well, the dwarf police, this is Snow White's dwarfs, they get tired of working in the mine, and they became police. They come to their door, and she has been caught. Not only is she caught, but this is her 3rd offense. So she is taken to the Fairy Tale Reform School for 3 months. So this is where delinquents go, and delinquents and former villains are turned into future heroes. The school is run by Cinderella's stepmother, Flora. And she feels bad for what she's done to Cinderella. So this is why she started this school. She really would like to be friends with Cinderella. Cinderella doesn't want anything to do with her. But anyway, she really, so she's trying to reform other villains, other rotten kids. So also the teachers in the school are villains from fairy tales, like the Big Bad Wolf, the queen who gave Sleeping Beauty her poison apple. And so all the teachers are the villains in fairy tales and nursery rhymes. So she gets to the school, and she's kind of impressed. She's like, well, gosh, this is very cushy and very roomy. It's much bigger than the boot she lives in with her family. She's got 5 brothers and sisters and her mom and dad, and they're living in a boot. So she meets Flora, Cinderella's stepmother, and they don't have a very good meeting. Gilly doesn't want to be there. Flora's going to set her on the right path. So Flora leaves, and she says, you need to think about your future. So while she's thinking about her future, she decides she's going to steal this golden quill that Flora was just writing with. So as she sticks it in her pocket, she hears somebody talking, and Kayla, who is a fairy, has been hiding because she wants to steal something as well. And she's like, oh, finally, I get to meet Gilly. You are a genius thief. I'm so glad to meet you in person. And they end up becoming roommates. And Gilly meets that night also Jax, who is trying to escape from the school, but is stopped by Mr. Wolfington, the Big Bad Wolf. And the 3 of these 3 will not be reformed. And they're kind of running havoc on the school. And there is a 5-year celebration for the opening of the school, and all the princesses are going to come and visit. So they're cleaning, they're painting, they're trying to get everything just perfectly spiffy for these 4 princesses. These 3 are kind of causing problems, but right as the festivities are beginning to get started, there is an evil that threatens the school. So check this out. Find out what the evil is. How do they, who takes care of it? What is the evil? And there is like 4 more in the series, and they're all in overdrive. So check it out. And I also wanted to tell you, thank you for coming, but leave a comment down below about what you would like to have me review, or what kind of books you want me to talk about, or just say, hey, I'd like to know that you're watching. So everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.